Hello, Toonami! Fantastic day to talk about our beloved Newcastle United, isn't it? What a brilliant time to be a Magpie, with all the exciting transfer news swirling around St. James Park. Now then, I've got two cracking stories for you today that have got the whole fan base buzzing. What do you think about Jacob Murphy's brilliant attitude towards potentially welcoming new competition on the right wing? Shows the true spirit of our club, doesn't it? And how would you feel about seeing Callum Wilson potentially moving on to Leeds United after his contract expires? Are we ready to say goodbye to our veteran striker? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, because I'm dying to hear what you all make of these developments. Right, let's dive straight into this Jacob Murphy story, because honestly, it just shows everything that's brilliant about our current squad and why Newcastle United truly is the best team in the world. Our Jacob has come out and basically said he's not bothered one bit about Eddie Howe potentially bringing in another right winger this summer, and that attitude right there is exactly why we love this lad. Murphy's been an absolute revelation this season, hasn't he? 9 goals and 14 assists in all competitions. That's more than 20 goal contributions from a player who many people didn't rate just a couple of seasons ago. Shows you what can happen when you've got the right manager, the right system, and most importantly, the right mentality. That's what sets Newcastle apart from all these other clubs. We've got players who genuinely want to fight for the shirt and improve themselves every single day. The fact that Jacob's come out in The Athletic and said he sees potential new signings as more competition and someone I can work off, share the load with, just demonstrates the incredible team spirit Eddie Howe has built at our club. This isn't a player worried about losing his spot. This is a professional who understands that competition makes everyone better. That's the Newcastle way. And it's why we're going to keep climbing up that table. Now let's talk about these transfer targets, because the rumours are absolutely flying around. Brian Mbumo from Brentford seems to be the main man on our radar, and I can see why Eddie's interested. The lad's been brilliant for the Bees, and at 25, he's entering his prime years. The problem is, Manchester United are sniffing around too, but here's the thing. Would you rather play for a club that's genuinely on the rise, with passionate fans and a clear vision? Or would you want to join the circus down at Old Trafford? I know which one I'd choose. What's interesting is that Newcastle could have up to $150 million to spend this summer, and that figure could go even higher if we manage to shift some players. That's serious money, and it shows just how far we've come under this ownership. Remember when we were scrapping around for loan signings and free transfers? Those days are long gone, and now we're talking about competing with the big boys for proper quality players. The fact that we want at least 3 new signings tells you everything about our ambition. We're not content with just staying in the Premier League or even just finishing mid-table. This club wants to be challenging for European spots consistently. And eventually, we want to be back where we belong, competing for major trophies. That's the Newcastle United way, and it's what our incredible fan base deserves. Murphy's attitude also shows how much the culture has changed at our club. Under previous regimes, players might have been panicking about new signings or trying to protect their positions through politics rather than performances. Not anymore. Now we've got lads who welcome the challenge and see it as an opportunity to get even better. That's what happens when you've got proper leadership from the top down. The other names mentioned, Johan Bakayoko from PSV and Tyler Dibbling, show that our scouting network is looking at all levels. Even if our interest in these particular players has cooled, it demonstrates that we're being thorough and considering all options. That's professional recruitment, not the scattergun approach we've seen at other clubs. What I love most about Murphy's comments is when he says, I won't stop working hard to achieve success here. That's a player who's committed to the cause and understands what it means to wear the black and white stripes. He's not thinking about personal glory or individual awards. He's thinking about team success. And that's exactly the mentality we need if we're going to achieve our ambitions. The competition for places is only going to make our squad stronger. And that's essential if we want to compete on multiple fronts. Look at the successful teams. They've all got quality options in every position. City, Arsenal, Liverpool. They can rotate their squads and barely drop in quality. That's where we need to get to. And Murphy's attitude suggests our current players understand that and embrace it. Right then, let's talk about Callum Wilson, because this one's got me feeling a bit emotional, to be honest. Our veteran striker looks set to leave St James Park when his contract expires at the end of June, and Leeds United are reportedly sniffing around. Now I know what you're all thinking. It's bittersweet, isn't it? On one hand, we understand the business side of football, but on the other hand, we're talking about a player who's given everything for our beloved Newcastle United. Wilson's been an absolute warrior for us since arriving from Bournemouth, and anyone who questions his commitment to the cause clearly hasn't been watching the same matches as the rest of us. The lad's been through injury hell and back, yet every time he's pulled on that black and white shirt, he's given 100%. That's what you want from a Newcastle player. Someone who understands the privilege of representing this incredible club and fan base. The fact that his contract isn't being renewed tells you everything about where we are as a club right now. We're not making decisions based on sentiment anymore. We're making them based on what's best for Newcastle United's future. It's tough to accept sometimes, especially when you're talking about players who've served the club well. But that's what happens when you're serious about competing at the highest level. The best teams in the world make these difficult decisions. And if we want to be the best team in the world, we need to think like them. Leeds United showing interest makes perfect sense from their perspective. They've just secured promotion back to the Premier League, and Daniel Farke knows he needs experienced players who understand what it takes to survive in the top flight. Wilson's got that experience in spades, and even at 33, he's still got something to offer. The lad knows where the back of the net is, and that's invaluable for a newly promoted side. What's interesting is that West Ham are also reportedly interested, which shows that Wilson's still highly regarded around the league. That's credit to him and his professionalism. Even when he's been dealing with injuries and limited game time, he's maintained his standards and his reputation. That's the mark of a true professional, and it's something our younger players can learn from. The situation with Mateo Joseph at Leeds, potentially moving to Real Betis, adds another layer to this story. If Joseph does leave, Leeds will definitely need striker reinforcements, and Wilson would be a brilliant short-term solution. He could mentor their younger forwards while providing that crucial Premier League experience. It's similar to what he's done for us with players like Alexander Isak, sharing his knowledge and helping develop the next generation. Now, let's be honest about Wilson's injury record, because that's obviously a concern for any potential suitor. The lad's had his fair share of fitness issues, and that's probably why we're not looking to renew his contract. At this stage of his career, he's probably better suited to being a squad player rather than a guaranteed starter, and that's exactly what Leeds could offer him. They'd likely rotate him with Joel Pirro, which could help manage his fitness and get the best out of both players. From Newcastle's perspective, letting Wilson go makes sense because we're clearly planning for the future. We've got Alexander Isak as our main striker, and the club's probably looking at bringing in another forward to provide competition and depth. That $150 million transfer budget we talked about earlier, needs to be spent on players who can contribute for the next 5 to 10 years. Not just the next season or two. But here's what I really admire about this whole situation. There's been no drama, no public complaints, no agent briefings to the press. Wilson's handling his potential departure with the same class and professionalism he's shown throughout his time at our club. That's the Newcastle way, and it's something we should all respect and appreciate. The fact that he's expected to remain in the Premier League shows that he's still got something to offer at the highest level. Whether it's Leeds, West Ham, or another club, Wilson will bring experience, leadership, and most importantly, goals. He might not be the future of Newcastle United, but he's certainly been an important part of our recent journey. Looking ahead, this creates an opportunity for us to bring in fresh blood and new energy. The striker market is always competitive, but with our resources and Eddie Howe's pool, we should be able to attract some serious quality. The key is finding someone who complements Isak and gives us different options depending on the opposition and the situation. What I love most about how this is being handled is the mutual respect between all parties. Wilson understands the business. The club appreciates his service, and everyone's moving forward professionally. That's how you build a reputation as a club that treats its players fairly, which makes it easier to attract top talent in the future. Well, that's all from St. James's Park for today, lads and lasses. Keep supporting the best team in the world, and I'll be back with more updates soon. Whether it's new signings coming in or familiar faces moving on, one thing never changes: our love for Newcastle United and our belief that better days are always ahead. Away the lads!